everyone, welcome to the very special makeup tutorial for the Whipping Man at Portland Stage. Today you're going to learn how to make your own bruise. It definitely won't be as gruesome as the stuff you're going to see in Whipping Man, but it will definitely give you a head start to learn how to do some of your own makeup. So, here we go. The supplies I have are my Ben Nye Bruise Wheel Kit. You can actually just use eyeshadow though if you don't have Ben Nye cream makeup, and that will work just as fine. I have some stage blood. Again, there's numerous stage blood recipes online if you don't have particular makeup. A lot of them involve cornstarch, some have peanut butter, soap, lots of different ways to do it. I have some of these pads to just help with application, but actually makeup sponges are even better. I'm probably going to use my fingers today, but you can use a combination of these guys, makeup sponges, and your fingers. Finally, I have my two paintbrushes. This one's actually a makeup brush, so it's a little bit more meant for this, but then I also have this guy, which is literally just a paintbrush, and you can just pick up any old paintbrush at the store and it'll do the job. Alright, so the most important thing to know about bruises is how they work. For faking them, a really good way to start is with a darker color like a red or a brown. Sorry about my cat. I've got blue here, purple, and then I've got green and yellow, and these are great for when you want to get that kind of like nasty healingness of a bruise. So we're going to open this guy up, and I'm actually going to just be applying right onto my left hand since I am right-handed. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a little bit of red. Like I said, I'm just going to use my finger, just this much. Just applying it. My bruise will be somewhat circular. The key to wounds is really not caring what it looks like. Honestly, it can look like whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. There's really no rhyme and reason, and that's why they're so fun and so easy. I'm adding a little bit of brown in the middle, giving it a little bit of depth. Patting all around with my finger to make sure it's not too splotchy and it doesn't look like an exact circle. Gonna get in there with some purple. Kind of one of the keys is you want to keep the deeper colors in the middle and then spread out as you go. You guys can see that happening. I got some blue, which is the deepest color in my wheel, so I will use it kind of sparingly because if I throw a lot of blue on there, it's going to start to look kind of funky. Another thing you want to consider when you're doing a bruise is how old your bruise is. If it's brand new, it's probably going to be a lot more red and blue than if it's a few days old. It'll have purple, it'll have some green, and some yellow. So I think I'm going to go for something that's a few days old just so I can use all my colors and have a really fun time. So, something like this, just starting to spread it out even a little bit more, is going to just look sort of like a bruise that happened maybe today, maybe yesterday, but now I'm going to really add some beautiful color to it. So, back to my wheel. I have my green. I'm going to get a little bit of green on my finger. I'm just alternating fingers so I'm not mixing the colors, and if you had a sponge, you could do this on different sides of the sponge as well. So I'm going to take that green, and I'm going to go just around the bruise. I don't really want to go in the blues and the reds that I've already done. I just kind of want to make almost like a ring on the outside. But again, you don't want it to be too perfectly symmetrical, so keeping in the mind that it is kind of a ring, but not an actual circle. So smearing it in there. Smearing it in some more. There we go. So it's really starting to get a nice color. Pretty disgusting. I'm going to add some yellow. And since the light is a little funky in this video, I'm going to take a picture of this bruise and I'll attach it at the end of the video so you guys will be able to see kind of what it looks like in a different light. So now is the part where I'm really just kind of rubbing it, messing it up. And now, personally, I think I have a little bit too much green and yellow on the edges, so I'm going to go back to my red and give it some color in the middle. And a little bit of purple. And now, this would probably be good if you wanted something to just be a day-old bruise. Now, I'm just going to add a little bit of spice. This technically might not be something you would actually see in real life, but it's fun to do. So I'm actually going to add a little bit of blood to the middle of my bruise. But the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to kind of paint it first in 2D. So I've got my paintbrush. I'm going to start with some red. And I'm going to paint almost like a little line, like a little scar. Just like that. And I'm going to kind of take it out a little bit with my fingers. You can see that? I'm going to go in with some brown and go right in the middle with the brown, and that's going to kind of give it this depth that we're looking for, as if your skin was actually cut. You guys can see that. I'm going to do a teeny bit more. Alright, so something kind of like that. I know in the video it just looks like a huge blotch of red, but again, I'll show you guys the pictures and it'll look a little bit better. Alright. And if you really want it to give a little bit more depth, you can add a little bit of that blue, because that is the darkest color we've got, or whatever you have in your eyeshadow collection. Awesome. Now, you could keep it like this and keep it 2D, but I'm actually going to go sort of for a 3D effect. So I got my blood. I'm going to open it up. Maybe. It's very sticky. Alright. And this stuff is messy, so if you do have stage blood, just be careful to not get it on anything. Sometimes it comes out of your clothing, really just depends. And you just need a little bit right now. So I've got my other brush, which I'm designating as my blood brush because it gets kind of gross and gunky. So I'm just going to use that for this right now. So just a little bit, you can see it on there. I'm going to go back to that line I found. I'm going to go ahead and paint it in. Just a really thin line of blood. And it's okay if you paint right over that blue that you did, because that's actually the deepest part of the wound, so you're going to have some blood in there. And really less is more here. If you just smear it on, it'll look a lot more fake. So just kind of like that, and it's already looking pretty nasty. If you wanted to add like blood drips, or you wanted to go kind of crazy with that, you'd have to imagine which way the blood is dripping. So if your hand was bent down, obviously the blood would be going down your fingers. If your hand was bent this way, the blood would go here, maybe this way. Just for funsies, I'm going to have the blood kind of going this way. So in order to do a drip, sometimes actually having real drips of blood is the way to go, and sometimes faking it is. So I'm going to show you how to fake it first, especially with small wounds. You'll just kind of make a little bit of a pool at the end where the blood is going to be dripping. And you're going to have a few little guys coming down. Again, like everything with this makeup, you don't want anything to be perfectly symmetrical. So I'm going to kind of mess them up a little bit. And then they get smaller and smaller as they go down your hand. So that's one way to do it. You can also kind of smear it as if you've been smearing it while you've been messing around, trying to get help with this awful wound you have, etc., etc. And then you can also, I'm going to show you in a different part of my hand, but you can also make a literal drop of blood. You will need kind of a good decent amount on this guy. Be careful not to drip it on anything you don't want to be bloody. So I'm just going to do it over here just so you can understand. You get a big drop of blood. And then you help it a little bit. You have gravity obviously helping it, but you help it a little bit with your brush too. You can add more blood. A little bit more. Big old droplet. And then gravity is going to start to do its work on this guy. This huge pool of blood will take a long time to dry. So if this is the look you're going for, make sure to give yourself time to dry, because if you smear this guy, it'll be sad and won't look like a drop of blood. But that's a good way to do this. Obviously this doesn't really look like any particular wound, but if I added my bruising and all that good stuff over here, then it would start to look pretty gnarly. So here's another final look at our blood. You can also just do blood by itself if you'd like. Taking your blood brush, you want just a little bit, and you're going to just draw a tiny little line wherever you want your blood. This has a lot of blood on it right now, so it might not be perfect. It's really about thinking about how the cut would cut you. So if I got cut on my finger, I actually have a scar right here, so we can just go right over that guy. It's just all about those little details. And again, you know, my scar is very irregularly shaped, and that's kind of how it is in real life. So you can think about ways you would be hurt. Obviously, stage makeup, very fun. Try not to scare your friends unless they're prepared, although it is very fun to do so. Hopefully this will help you at Halloween. It'll be fun to see when you come to Whipping Man to see how we do the different effects in the show. We have some gangrene effects, and we also have some whiplashes and things that will appear in the show. So really fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, you can comment below, and hopefully we will see you at Whipping Man at Portland Stage. Have a great day.